Hello, my name is Ashley Granville, and I will be talking about Sapphic Fetishization and Objectification and its negative impact on them. To start off, let's explain the terms Sapphic Fetishization and Objectification. Sapphic. This is an umbrella term for any non-man who is attracted to non-men. This includes identities such as lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, and queer. Fetishization. In this context, fetishization is the reduction of a person to aspects of their body, identity, or relationship structure. Objectification. This is the act of treating a person like an object or a thing, and in this context, viewing them as sexual objects. Another term that I'll be using is women loving women. Now that we know these terms, let's move on to the issue. It's common knowledge that a lot of men, mostly heterosexual men, view women and female-presenting individuals as sexual objects. And for many of those individuals, especially Saphics, this stems from the media that those men are consuming. This media can range from social media posts by misogynists and homophobes who objectify and over-sexualize women to straight-up pornography. Media like this can influence people's perception on women and Saphics. Let's move on to specific examples and experiences that have occurred. In a 2014 TED Talk, Cattermole talks about her perspective on the over-sexualization of lesbians and the false portrayal of lesbians in the porn industry. She gives examples where the situation shown in porn will be two women and the postman comes in, or two women and the milkman joins in. This portrayal teaches the viewers that this is what happens in real life and can condition and influence people to believe that. It makes it seem like lesbians don't mind or even like men in their intimate relationship when this is not the case. Cattermole says that, especially for teen boys that are just starting to watch porn and haven't seen Saphics in real life frequently, watching this woman-loving woman porn labeled as lesbian teaches them not only that lesbians are okay with men in their relationships, but also gives them the opportunities to see lesbians in their day-to-day life and associate them with porn. She expresses that in her day-to-day life, she as a lesbian cannot hold her girlfriend's hand in public like a heterosexual couple could without people staring. And she thinks that this is because when people see her, they think porn. Pornography creates a social construct that equates lesbians to porn and views lesbians as objects of desire rather than people. Cattermole shares her experience where she goes to a bar and when a man asks to buy her a drink, she says she's engaged to her partner Becky. The man asks if he can join in and persists on hitting on her, whereas a heterosexual woman could say, "I have a boyfriend," and Ben will back off. On some occasions, men will say things like, "Oh, I can change you," or "You're just the challenge," which is not only disrespecting the identity of lesbians like Cattermole, but also implying that lesbians should have sex with men like they do in erotic media. These instances occur because of the social construct that lesbian pornography creates. She also talks about how this damages her quality of life because if she goes along with it, she feeds into these people's stereotypical and negative perceptions. But if she goes against it, then it hurts their egos and can lead to making those people lash out and even resulting in violence, which leads into my next example. There's an infamous instance in 2019 where a Sapphic couple, Melania Gaymonat and Christine Hannigan, were viciously beaten on a London bus after they refused to kiss for the men asking them to do so that they could enjoy watching. These men also described sexual positions to them and continued harassing them before Chris stood up for herself, which resulted in her and Melania getting beaten up. This example shows what Cattermole was talking about. Feeding into them is no good, but when you stand up for yourself, it can end in violence. Now for another example that proves that fetishization is bad for the mental health. In 2020, a scholarly journal about bisexuality had a study with 12 bisexual women to explore bisexual women's objectification experiences, the effect that it has on them, and how these women respond and cope with these situations. Data analysis revealed 5 major themes: power of the media, bisexual myths, a triad of discrimination, outcomes of discriminatory experiences, and coping. Starting with power of the media, all participants in the study discussed the problematic representation of bisexuals in media. One of the participants shared how these sexualized media representations translate into personal challenges. In bisexual myths, many of the participants report getting questions asked about sex from random people based on the stereotype that bisexuals are more sexual. In a triad of discrimination, participants report being treated like they're a highly sought-after sex object. In outcomes of discriminatory experience, participants shared that this fetishization and discrimination has affected their abilities to trust others, placed them on a high emotional alert, given them more psychological distress, and even caused them trauma. They also talk about the alienation from the queer community because of biphobia, but that is unrelated to what I'm discussing right now. We will talk about Section 5 later. My last examples for recent fetishization are from Twitter. Last month, several news accounts tweeted that Miss Argentina and Miss Puerto Rico got married, and there was some concerning reply, so I'm going to address a few of the fetishizing ones. This one assumes their sex life and invalidates their relationship and identity. These talk about doing OnlyFans, meaning they're only thinking about their sex life. This one is just straight up creepy, saying that he wants to watch. Now that we have discussed examples and experiences of fetishization and objectification, what is the solution? Cattermole suggests, and I agree, that education is the answer. To teach people from a young age and in sex education courses to treat others in a good way and teach them that they cannot treat people how they are seen in pornography because they aren't portrayed in the right light. She also says that if you hear someone saying something inappropriate to a lesbian, maybe try to step in and help out. I believe that we can also help each other by building a strong sense of community. Going back to Section 5, Coping of the Bisexual Study, the participants cope by relying on social support systems consisting of friends and shared community. So I think that it's important to build trust with other people within your community. You can also help by showing this video to someone you think might need educating. Hopefully when they watch this, they will understand the struggle of Sapphic Fetishization and Objectification. Thank you for watching.